Prosecution covered, state and federal. Elliot Feelig and Brett Tolman, welcome to you both, gentlemen. Elliot, let me start with you. Sometimes prosecutors get stuck with some pretty unsavory witnesses, but it looks like the former Vice President, Mike Pence, might be a star witness for the prosecution, whether he wants to be or not. What do you make of that?
Yeah, that was a huge part of the indictment that, if I'm the prosecutor on this case, I would lean heavily into. This moment where Donald Trump allegedly said to Mike Pence, the problem is you're too honest. If I'm the prosecutor, I would hit that hard in my summation, because logically speaking, when would you say to someone, you're too honest to do this, unless you knew deep down the thing you were asking them to do was in fact dishonest? Now look, Donald Trump can go out at rallies and say, Mike Pence is a rhino or a communist, or, knock yourself out, say that all day long. But good luck to the trial lawyer who has to stand up in front of a jury and say, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, Mike Pence is not someone who takes the oath to tell the truth seriously.
Yeah, that is actually an insult that I don't know I've ever heard that before in life, that somebody is too honest. All right, Brett, former U.S. attorney. Politicians do lie from time to time. I don't want to upset either one of you guys that never ran for office, but politicians do lie from time to time. They even claimed they won when they did not. But what makes this criminal fraud as opposed to just the normal political fraud?
Well, Trey, thanks for having me on. I will tell you that, look, there is a legal and factual analysis that a prosecutor goes through when deciding whether or not something is criminal. And here the real concern that I have is the creativity of prosecutors as of late. I never believed, I still don't believe that prosecutors should be creative. We're supposed to have a system where you have a clear statute that has been violated, you have criminal intent to violate that statute, and the facts support it, and then you charge that. The real concern here is you have co-conspirators that are lawyers who are giving advice. There's no real analysis of the advice of counsel defense, the criminal mens rea, the intent part of the case that is required. And that's the concern I have going into this, is that this is a political case where the civil law would have been adequate to address and deal with the dishonesty of a politician who I do think, lawfully can be dishonest. And we see politicians doing it every day in this country.
All right, Elliot, Brett raises a good point. I mean, bad facts make for tough law. I mean, that's an old adage from our days in law school. And these are, I don't want to say they're bad facts. They're certainly interesting facts. You have fake electors, you have a pressure campaign on the vice president, you have calls of state election officials, and you have January 6th, what happened at the Capitol. Elliot, is it possible that something can be an awful, awful day for the country, but still not meet the elements, as Brett noted, of a criminal statute?
Sure, that certainly can be the case. The problem with the free speech argument is, look, Donald Trump wouldn't be under indictment if he had 50 or 100 or 1,000 rallies where he simply said, falsely by the way, that the election was stolen or that there was widespread fraud, even though there's no evidence of that. He wouldn't be under indictment if he had just done that. Where they crossed the line was when they had these fake electors gather in state capitals after the secretaries of state and the governors had signed certifications that Biden had won the state. If I can make an analogy, Trey, I can come on your show and say, I'm the real Trey Gowdy. I can run around the streets of New York or South Carolina and say, I'm the real Trey Gowdy. But if I go home and I print out a fake driver's license or a fake birth certificate, and I walk into your bank and I say, I'm Trey Gowdy and I'm here to take out all my money, then I've crossed the line into fraud, into forgery, into maybe an attempted grand larceny. I don't think there was a good faith basis for electors to sign fake certificates or false certificates saying that they were duly elected and duly certified. And I don't think there's a good faith basis for saying to Mike Pence, you should take those certificates rather than the real ones.
All right, Elliot, I got to caution you as your friend and as a lawyer. Do not come to South Carolina and say that you are me. You are much more popular in my home state than I am. So you need to come down here and say that you are Elliot or maybe Brett. But our viewers are really grateful to have two people who know what they're talking about come on and share it with us. So thank you for joining us on a Sunday night.
Thank you.
Thank you.